You are now tuned in to the 411 for your fantasy football with your host, Autumn Wind Williams.
What is going on, everybody? I am Autumn Wind Williams, and this is the 411 for your fantasy football. We are now inside the main slate for DFS Week 14, and I'm going to provide you a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense that I'm putting in my NFL DFS lineup on all three slates. You can take consideration to see if you want to put them in yours or critique what players you think you should not put in based on the information that I'm providing you, whether or not you want to hedge. But be sure that you do click the like or dislike button, the subscribe button, the bell icon, so you know when I'm making the next video and you won't miss out. Also comment below, let me know what you don't like about the lineup, what you think I should change, if it's certain players that you think would fit the build a whole lot better. Drop the comments below, or just tell me what plays that you like, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and check the injury report right now before we find out what I'm putting in my main lineup, just in case it's something that I need to change up. You know how this COVID-19 is. You can decide to put players in your lineup, and next thing you know, you got to change your whole entire game plan. Oh wow, I see one guy right now that I was considering in a lot of my lineups on Draftkings and Fanduel and Yahoo. Myles Gaskin, running back from the Miami Dolphins, is now placed on COVID reserve. He's out for the game against the Chiefs tomorrow. David Johnson's been placed on a COVID list too for the Houston Texans. Justin Jackson, he's off IR, activated for Week 14. That's going to be a crowded backfield for the Chargers now. Wow. Galladay still out as expected for the Detroit Lions. Deebo Samuel with a foot, he's now playing against the Washington football team. Ezekiel Elliott's listed questionable for Sunday but expected to play. Jonnu Smith is going to be playing for the Tennessee Titans, so Ferkser may not be needed in your lineups. DJ Moore and Zach Kerr remains on the COVID list. No expectations if they'll be removed for Sunday's game. Robbie Anderson will be a big play role at wide receiver along with Curtis Samuel, who's no longer on the COVID list. Tyreek Hill, he has an illness, but he'll be playing against the Dolphins. Daniel Jones, hamstring, he'll be playing, but he is questionable still. He was full practice yesterday. Irv Smith is still questionable. Kyle Rudolph is out. So you might want to consider Irv Smith if he does get activated for tomorrow's game. Antonio Gibson, DNP on Friday, not expected to play. Todd Gurley will play against the Chargers. Bruce Arians said Mike Evans practiced in full, but it will be a game time decision playing against the Vikings. DeAndre Hopkins, his neck and his back. He returned to practice yesterday. It looked like he's going to be available for Sunday if nothing comes out on the final injury report. And Christian McCaffrey, everybody was hoping that he played this week, especially if you're playing year-long fantasy, and he is a no-go. Okay, so one other thing. Swift is trending towards playing against the Packers tomorrow for the Detroit Lions. Let me see if there's anything else important. Yeah, Julio Jones is out. Yes, Julio Jones is out for Sunday. I kind of expected that. Well, anyway, let me get on to my plays at quarterback. I'm going to be having this rookie right here, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. They're going to be going against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm expecting this to be a high-scoring game. Right now, Vegas is looking at the Chargers as an underdog. It is a 49.5 projected total. Like I said, I'm expecting it to be higher scoring, maybe 60, 65 points put up in this game. Anthony Lynn, his job is really going to be on the line. I listened to his press conference after the last game where they got blew out 45-0 against the the New England Patriots. It was horrible, man, especially on special teams. They got a new special teams coach, fired the old one 3 weeks ago. Things weren't working out, and it seems like the reason why it wasn't working out, he admitted he was helping out at special teams. And he said it was a lot of big mistakes, but at the same time they asked him if he felt like he would have his job still this past Monday, and he looked at the camera with a confident yes. Yeah, I was shocked. You know, he did say that it's not in his hands what happens, but it really feel like he's walking on eggshells. But anyway, Justin Herbert, he threw I think a couple interceptions last week, but I'm looking at the Falcons is ranked the worst in the league against opposing quarterbacks, and they're allowing a game average of 27 fantasy points at that position for the quarterback. And it was just an outlier game. I know Bill Belichick's supposed to be good against rookies, but I feel like Justin Herbert he's one of those guys that only come around a few times in your lifetime that you can have on your roster as quarterback. Before then he was putting up 20, 30, 21, 26, 23, 41, 27, 24, 19, 26 fantasy points in his debut. So, he's averaging 24.3 fantasy points. I feel like he can really go out and do his thing. Like I said, the Falcons is last in the league versus the quarterback position. So I'm putting them in my lineup confidently that the Chargers is not going to go out there and play like they did with against the New England Patriots. Moving on to a running back. Now we know Antonio Gibson, he's out with a toe, is really bad turf toe is what I'm hearing. So I'm looking at the other guy that was still getting a lot of usage even when Antonio Gibson was on the field, and that's J.D. McKissic. He's expected to handle a bulk of the passes. He may get some handoffs. I'm nervous about Peyton Barber getting touchdowns in the red zone, when they're at the goal line, because he carried the ball 14 times. McKissic only carried the ball 5 times. And, I know the 49ers are good against the running back position, but Alex Smith used this guy as his number one check down option. Last week he caught 10 passes for 10 targets, got 70 yards. And since I think it's going to be a game where the Washington football team is going to be playing from behind, it only makes sense to use the guy that's going to be involved as a running back, wide receiver, and relied on during garbage time. And so I got J.D. McKissic as my lock button. Moving on to wide receiver, I know a lot of people are going to be going after Calvin Ridley now that Julio Jones is not going to be playing. But if you watch the games close for the Atlanta Falcons, I see Matt Ryan throwing to Russell Gage a lot, especially when they're not using the running back position with Todd Gurley dealing with the knee. He's supposed to be playing tomorrow, yeah, but every time we hear that Todd Gurley's playing, he's not really producing. Knock on wood. He might try to work tomorrow. Now that I said that, it might be Ito Smith or Brian Hill, but I feel like Russell Gage is still going to get a lot of those short passes from Matt Ryan when he's thinking that pressure's coming in. He might get a deep pass, might get a touchdown. Let's look at his numbers right quick. Russell Gage, let's see what he get last week. He had one of his biggest games last week, actually. He got 15.1 fantasy points on Draftkings for only 4,500. He's still at 4,500. They did not move his price. Week before, he was a little down, 6.4. Week before that, 12.8. And I'm just looking at the targets. When he got the 12.8, I was watching that game against the New Orleans Saints, and he got 12 targets, caught 7 of them for 58 yards. But last week he actually got a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints, where he got 8 targets and caught 4 passes for 51 yards. So this is a cheap guy I can put in where I can pay for some higher players at other spots. So I got Russell Gage as my lock button, especially when I needed somebody to bring it back going against the Los Angeles Chargers. All right, moving on. Staying in that game, I'm going with the tight end. I like to pair up my quarterback with my tight end a lot, or an opposing tight end, the game stack, because I just look at how a lot of guys recommend just pay down low, select any tight end, just like with DFS in MLB with the catcher's position. Just pay down low and just pray that that guy get a touchdown or home run in that case. But I just feel like it makes sense when you're trying to correlate your lineups. You may as well play a tight end that's going to be in that game, whether it's opposing tight end or pairing your tight end with your quarterback. So that's what I'm doing with Hunter Henry of the Los Angeles Chargers. He had his ups and downs this year, just like most tight ends every year, all through the year. Falcons, they're tied with the Browns, ranking 28th at defense against the tight end position. And if you look at Hunter Henry's ability, he can go out there and get 9.8 fantasy points is his average. At his price, what is his price on DraftKings? Let's see. He is 4,400. That's still cheap, man. That's really cheap. It's not like you're paying up for Waller or Kelsey, and he can actually put up the same production as one of those guys. They just, it's difficult when they got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but I feel like if he got targeted like Kelsey or Waller, he could actually put up those type of numbers. He may not do it tomorrow, but like I said, the Falcons is the 28th defense in the NFL, 28th ranked. It's a possibility. He's 5,600 on Fanduel, so that's pretty cheap right there. So I'm going to have him locked as my tight end for Week 14 on DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. Washington football team. That's what I'm going to get to next. The defense. I'm stacking them with J.D. McKissick. Yeah, I like to stack my defense with a running back that I have in my lineup too, and not just selecting anybody down low, wishing upon a star, just the same as people do with the tight end position. It just don't make any sense. I mean, sometimes I do. If it's some guys that I'm really trying to pay up for, and I know it's a possibility a $2,000 or $21,000 defense can go out there and get interception and 3 sacks or something like that. Sometimes I take my chances, but the majority of my lineups is going to be correlated with one of my running backs, because it just don't make sense to just throw anybody in there. We can throw players in all day, but I know the whole play whatever you want stuff, yeah, but make some sense. You just don't throw anybody in there, like it's lottery, you picking any number. Tell a story with your lineups, because more than often it's going to work that way. If you just stack anybody just because, like, stack all third stringers thinking you're going to get touchdowns from all of them, no, it's not happening that way. Sometimes it don't even happen that way with first stringers. But that's what I have for my Week 14 lineup in DFS main slate. At quarterback, I got Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers going against the Atlanta Falcons. Running back, I got J.D. McKissick from the Washington football team going against the San Francisco 49ers. Well, this week again, they're the Arizona 49ers. Next, I have Russell Gage, Atlanta Falcons wide receiver, bringing it back in that Chargers-Falcons game. Stacking with my quarterback, I have Hunter Henry at tight end from the Los Angeles Chargers going against the Atlanta Falcons. And last but not least, I got the defense, Washington football team, going against the Arizona 49ers. So that's what I have for you guys. Like I said, don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, comment below, click the bell icon so you know when is the next time I'm going to make another video for you to enjoy or dislike. Until then, I wish you a lot of luck, and hopefully your pockets get filled with a lot of greenbacks, And just stay safe, stay blessed, peace, and I'm out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 411 Podcast. Now get ready to make that money. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the 411 DFS.